My name is Scott Fawcett, creator of the Decade course management system. The goal of Decade is to help you find the pedantic mistakes that leave you feeling like you should have shot lower every time you play golf. Today we're going to analyze Jake Knapp's 59, the back nine specifically, where you would think that, man, in order to shoot 59 and 12 under par, he's firing at every single flag. What we're really going to look at here is he played patient, disciplined golf, plotting his way around that golf course, and it's a work of art, to be perfectly honest. For starters, though, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping, so we're going to talk about shot patterns and what I mean by target, and then we're going to dig right into that just amazing back nine. For starters, what I mean by shot pattern is this right here. This was Aaron Wise when he was the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year a few years ago. I had him hit 20 shots on the other end of the range at TPC Summerlin, and we normalized these to no wind. Now, I will say there was a decent amount of wind coming off the left this day, and I do think it was messing with them a little bit. But, obviously, if our intended target is 188 yards, and obviously right down the center line, we're going to miss shots left, we're going to miss shots right, we're going to miss shots short, we're going to miss shots long. What the goal of course management is actually managing this shot pattern around the golf course. So instead of thinking like, I'm going to hit it here, you're going to think I'm going to hit it approximately here. So we've got this shotgun style blast. And once you start understanding this concept, the realities of course management become very straightforward. What I will say Aaron did do good is he did basically blanket his target half left and half right. And so once we start talking about target in Decade, I'm simply meaning if you were standing on a range and the white flag was 175 yards away and I said, take this 6-iron and hit it at the white flag. Hopefully we would hit about half of our shots left and half right. If we've got a skew to the right, then we need to learn how to aim our shot a little bit better than we do. But again, at the end of the day, the main point is we have a shotgun blast, not a sniper's rifle. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Strokes gained driving, what around? Plus 2.3. Strokes gained approach, plus 3.3. Chipping, which is around the green, anything within 30 yards of the edge of the green, plus 1.4. And putting was plus 2.6, basically. He only had 1 drive and 3 approach shots that actually lost shots. So this was just a solid round of golf from start to finish. And this is what we're going to dig into at this point. I want to start by saying thank you to the PGA Tour. All of these images are just from their website. Their sponsors are HP, CDW, FedEx, and AWS. This is absolutely incredible stuff the PGA Tour has had for a while with ShotLink. These images have been exclusive to PGA Tour instructors for the last 15 years, however long. And now they've got what they call TourCast, and I highly suggest checking it out. It's such a fun feature to use during golf tournaments. But what we're looking at here is number 10. Again, the front nine is very similar. I just think this gets really interesting on the back nine because, again, you would think that he would have to start firing at flags. And, man, I'm playing super aggressive golf. I'm trying to shoot 59, and that's just not what happened here. So hit a solid drive out here on the 10th hole. And now on his second shot, he's got 253 yards. The pin is tucked way back here in the dead back left, so obviously he could be trying to hit some sort of a slinging draw in there since he does actually draw the golf ball. But I would say that most likely Jake's target was right here in the absolute dead center of the green. Again, 253 yards. And so this shot was just the shot that finished on the slight right-hand side of his shot pattern. We're going to see this idea a lot throughout this video. We've got our target. We've got our shot pattern. This thing, even though it was hit to the dead right-hand side of the green, it was also just a nice, simple 2-putt birdie. If he had tried to do something kind of funky, he could very easily wind up over here by smothering it. Now he is short-sided in the rough. The pin's only a couple yards, 3 yards from the left edge. You're just totally dead if you're much more than 5 or 6 yards off the left side of this green. Or he's going to hit kind of a double crossy flare and be over here having a really long bunker shot, something longer from the rough. What he did, just a fantastic disciplined play. I'm just trying to make birdie here. If I happen to make a long putt, so be it. But I just want to walk off of here with an easy 4. This hole is super cool. I would love to have actually seen this tee shot, to be perfectly honest. Jake's ball speed with the driver is right around 190. He hit this one 169, so I'm assuming it wasn't like an off-speed drive. I'm assuming he just roasted like a 3-wood. Maybe a long iron with him, but I would assume this is just a roasted, flighted 3-wood because also the apex was only 39 feet. So this was just what you would consider that tiger stinger from back in the day. Absolutely perfect. The second shot is really cool on this one. So he has 133 yards to the flag. The flag is 7 yards from the left edge of the green, so directionally I'm not too worried about him like missing the green left or missing the green right, especially he's feeling it today. And decade, the way our math works is we start with the length of the shot first and foremost, and then we start adding in the surrounding hazards to really come up with our ultimate target. Firing directly at the flag is often not a great idea. Firing at the dead center of the green, which is kind of the default not at the flag, that's typically, it can be just as bad or even worse than firing directly at the flag. So we really want to figure out how to choose these targets. What he did, though, was he landed this ball 138 yards. So you can see the pin was 5 from the front edge. He carried it 5 yards past the flag. So at the end of the day, he carried this ball 10 yards onto the green. Again, we're not going to get too much into the decade math here, but that is exactly where decade would prescribe you land it. Even if the green was firm and that meant that the ball was going to bounce to the back edge, so be it. What's the alternative? Trying to land it somewhere right here just past the fringe, trying to make birdie? That's just not how the game works. One of the reasons this 59 was even possible was because it's obviously warm. It's South Florida. It was dead calm and the greens are soft. So he's got a lot of room to work with. And what I think is really important from this shot is, yes, he spun it back close to the hole, but no, I don't think, even if the greens were firm, I don't think his intended landing point would have been any different, maybe a yard or two shorter. And again, back to that shotgun idea, we technically have no idea where he wanted to land this shot, but very rarely do you hit it materially further than you were intending to. You might hit it short, but if he was trying to actually land it like 133, man, 138 would be about the furthest he would ever accidentally land that shot. So I do believe that's probably exactly where he was trying to land it, and it's just a happy convenience that the greens were soft enough to bring the ball back close to the hole to make another birdie. 12, this is the only tee shot in the entire round that he hit that actually lost strokes off the tee. He hit every other fairway. This ball landed and probably just scooted on him, to be perfectly honest. Got through and into the rough, and that's when decade and course management start really being a little bit different. Once you're in the rough, you've lost some control of the golf ball. Yeah, you might even look down there and the lie's pretty good, and you're like, oh, it's going to come out of the rough just fine. And while that might be true, it also might jump on you. It might come out soft. You're going to lose some amount of spin, and that's really what helps you control the golf ball. So this particular shot, the pin conveniently is in the dead back. If it's up front and you're in the rough, it's a little bit unfortunate, to be perfectly honest, that you just happen to miss a fairway where the pin just happens to be on the front. That's, again, I talk about winning requires luck all the time. That would just be unfortunate. Now, 59s require luck too. He was able to carry this bunker, have the ball trundle out, it looks like a good 15 feet, leaving himself about 30 feet for birdie. Simple two-putt par life is good, but this right here is a spot where he should be taking almost dead aim at the flag. It's 9 yards from the right edge and pretty much 9 yards from the left edge. But we don't want to go off the green left, but you can't really favor one side or the other because the pin is essentially from his angle in the dead center of the green, but we also don't want to go long. So he did a great job coming up short of the flag, pretty much aiming directly at the flag. 13. If this flag is really almost anywhere else on the green, maybe not on the front right, but I would really want Jake hitting driver with as far as he hits the golf ball. If the pin's anywhere in the back, even if he's in the rough, he's going to be able to land it in the middle of the green, let the ball roll out a little bit to the back flag. But with this pin over here on the left, there's just so much of his shot pattern that's in bad shape. You just really don't want to be coming into this tight little left pin. So he hit an iron, who knows, off the tee. I'm assuming probably an iron, maybe a 3-wood, but hit that out into the fairway, leaving himself 100 yards to the flag. Again, we're not going to get into the decade math here, but decade would basically have him be aiming this shot directly at the flag once you understand the parameters of it. But so he aimed this one directly at the flag. He actually hit it 104 yards, landed the shot a little bit past the hole, and it just stopped nice, and it didn't spin back for him. Who knows if he was trying to land it a little bit long to spin it back, but this shot basically just landed and stuck exactly where he wanted it. Again, target directly at it. So we've seen so far the first hole, number 10, he probably wasn't aiming directly at that flag, missed his shot on the right side of his shot pattern. Cool. The next 3 shots, pretty much he should be taking dead aim at the flag, but maybe adjusting a little bit distance-wise. So on 11, he hit it a little bit long. 12, he hit a little bit short. 13, he should be hitting it pretty much dead on pin high. Real quick, I wasn't planning on actually talking about these decade numbers so much, and I don't want this to seem too salesy, but obviously I've got to hold some stuff behind for my decade app members. So in decade, what we actually do is teach you how to pick these targets, going through how long is the shot, what are the surrounding hazards, what are the weather conditions. That's really not the point of this video. What I'm really trying to illustrate to you here is just how patient and disciplined Jake played while about to shoot 59. Didn't let the emotions get away from him, kept on picking solid targets. So not to be salesy, definitely the point of decade is teaching you how to pick these targets. Let's hop right back to number 14. All right, here we have obviously another great drive since he only had one that was negative strokes gained. So solid drive. Really interesting shot here to analyze. 150 yards, which again for Jake's probably a pitching wedge, which again doesn't really matter because of the loft of the club, but it's not a long shot for Jake. But I don't believe there's any chance he was aiming directly at the flag. Now, what's again interesting, as I just said, I won't talk about the numbers much. This is exactly where decade would have him hit this golf shot once you understand how to run the target selection. But what we've really got to think of is imagine if the shot, the target was right here. You've got that footprint of a shot pattern like we were just showing with Aaron Wise earlier. So he's trying to hit the ball somewhere left of this flag, almost for sure. It's 7 yards from the right edge. We definitely need to respect this water hazard. Sure, we want to look at shooting 59, but we really don't want to make an unnecessary double on a hole like this, especially with the bear trap coming up. He's going to make some birdies coming in to shoot 59, but he could easily make a couple doubles and absolutely walk away thinking, oh my God, did I let one get away from me here? So this shot popped up exactly where I would expect it to. Anywhere all the way up over, there's a pretty big ridge, at least there used to be, I have no idea if it's still there. Anywhere all the way over to the middle of the green, to the right edge. But this is the situation I'm talking about where you can't just say middle of the green. It's either at the flag or middle of the green. Well, middle of the green, this is a very wide green. You do not need to be that conservative, especially a guy like Jake Knapp. So we've got this inflection point somewhere between directly at the hole and the middle of the green, and that's where your target, again, target meaning just like if we were on the driving range hitting at the white flag, blanking half of our shots left and half of our shots right, that's what we're talking about here when we say target selection, allowing for our shot pattern. Now we're into the Bears trap. I used to play the Golden Bear Tour down here in the late 90s, early 2000s. These 3 holes in a row are absolutely something else when you're a dead broke mini tour player. But he's 169 yards to the flag. He hit the shot 171. Again, you can see there's water right. There's a bunker. This bunker's no good, but it's a heck of a lot better than water. So our target needs to probably pretty much be from 169, the dead center of the green, if not a little bit left of it. And so I would say this shot, he certainly wasn't aiming all the way over here. Like that would just be bringing this bunker into play way too often. And he doesn't need to aim, center a shot pattern, this far away from the flag because then he'll just never hit it in the water. Again, you shouldn't hit it in the water much, but we don't need to be overly conservative because then we're just going to make too many bogeys from here. And as I saw somebody hit it in the bunker and then blade it in the water, you can bring triple and all kinds of stuff into play from this left bunker. So shot pattern target just slightly over here towards the middle left center of the green. Hit a great shot, slightly pulled, probably to hit relative to his target, but a very solid golf shot. 16, again, solid drive. He's got himself 145 yards to the flag. Exact same scenario as the last hole. His target should not be at the flag because this bunker is not very good. Even though it's soft, it's a little bit deeper. The ball's going to kick towards the middle of the bunker, leaving him a relatively hard bunker shot with only 5 yards of green to work with. So he definitely needs to respect this flag a couple of yards, but he certainly doesn't need to aim all the way over here to the front left. So again, I do believe he was probably aiming 3-ish yards left of this flag and just probably didn't hit it very solid. Well, it looks like it spun, so he probably hit it pretty solid, and then it spun back a little bit further away from the hole. Again, completely within the reasonable tolerance of a shot pattern, which aiming at essentially probably the dead center of this green directionally would allow him to hit the green the vast majority of the time. Now he can, as Tiger says, I play aggressive to my spot. He can attack this spot rather than aiming at the flag, or excuse me, aiming away from it and then kind of hoping he pushes it. We attack it knowing I might slightly pull it, I might slightly push it. It's just inconvenient when you happen to pull it when pushing it theoretically would have been better. Because we get to a hole like 17, 157 yards, we don't want to be in this water short and left right here, so our target obviously only 5 yards to work with between the flag and the water. We need to push our target a little bit right, but then also the flag's only 8 yards on the green. From 157, we need to push our target a little bit past the hole as well. So this shot, again, I believe he probably hit it within about a foot of where he was actually trying to. Would it have been ideal since if he knew he was going to hit this shot to aim it directly at the flag? Well, absolutely. 100% if he knew he was going to hit that, but we've got a shot pattern. If he was aiming directly at this flag and he hit the shot that he did on the last hole on number 16, I would guarantee you that thing is kicking down and in the water, again, relative to his actual target. So this is why we have to manage our expectations. Definitely not just wheels off firing at flags. We've seen a couple now where he's most likely aiming away. And what you really need to understand in this is his ball hasn't finished up even on the green on the wrong side of the flag yet. He has been keeping it to the correct side of the flag consistently throughout this back nine. And we're going to see the same thing on number 18. 335 yards down the middle, leaving him 200 yards to the flag. We should probably be hitting this shot out here left of the pin. Now, I do think on this particular shot, he should be landing the ball closer to where he finished and probably letting it release out further into the green, which I would almost guarantee you he was trying to do. There's no way he's trying to carry this fringe by a foot. So this is why we rarely hit it much past where we were trying to, like I was saying back on number 11. But here's a spot where by giving himself a little bit of leeway, he was able to not quite fly it as far as he was intending to. Directionally, this probably was just about where he was trying to hit it. So, I mean, look at this back nine. He just plodded his way along. Sure, he made some putts. Sure, he drove it well. Sure, he hit some solid irons. But this is not what you would think of just wheels off attacking a golf course. This is very similar, now that I think about it, to the final round that Tiger played in the 2019 Masters. We never got that big Tiger roar or fist pump when he was winning that day. It's because he just plodded his way around the golf course, didn't do anything stupid. He two-putted the par 5s for birdie. Yes, he hit it tight on number 7, but he hit it long and it caught the slope and came back down. And yes, on 16, he hit the slope also and almost hit a hole-in-one. But basically, he just plodded along. His ball kept on popping up in the exact spot that you would expect it to. Again, very similar to this round that Jake Knapp just played. So I hope that helps everyone see what it takes to shoot 59. It takes really good golf, obviously. But there's no chance he was aiming every one of these shots at the flag. There's no chance the ball would just magically be skewed towards the middle on the shots where you would expect it to. Sure, on the shorter shots, we're taking dead aim. But there's this inflection point, like I say, between firing at the flag and the middle of the green. There's this inflection point where that's the optimal target. That's what Decade helps you find. So there's just so often that aiming at the middle of the green is just as bad as aiming directly at the flag. We've got to find that inflection point because at the end of the day, this game is way more about avoiding bogeys than it is making more birdies. So hope that helped everybody get a little bit of an insight to how I see and view the game. Obviously, this was a great round of golf. Congrats to Jake. Shooting 59 on the PGA Tour. I don't care if you wound up winning the tournament or not, is absolutely amazing. That guy's got a great future ahead of him, and can't wait to watch more golf. I'm going to make a few of these videos. I feel super silly doing this, but hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, made it this far. Apparently, it really does help the algorithm. If I see some good results out of these first few videos I'm going to make, I'll absolutely keep making more. I don't want to become some YouTube star, but I do enjoy teaching this information. So check out the Decade app, decade.golf. We've got some great specials coming up for the spring season. And again, the only purpose of Decade is to help you not feel like you've wasted shots every single time you play. Enjoy this great game that we all love a little bit more.